Jeff, Zach, well, thanks for joining me. And we all know in journalism, if it bleeds, it leads. So today we're talking about real estate foreclosures. Commercial foreclosures rose 48% year over year in September. That's 695 foreclosures nationally in a continent-wide country of over around 350 million people. Maybe not a huge deal, but it's a good headline. That's slightly lower than where commercial foreclosures peaked earlier this year, but marked a 15% increase in the prior month. Um, some of your thoughts on just the foreclosure activity that, while notable, certainly isn't anything that's driving a lot of fear or trepidation in the market.
Well, I think that a lot of those numbers are inflated, and a lot of that has to do with the higher interest rates and tighter lending standards. Because a lot of stuff, if you can't refinance it, or if you did get some financing over the last few years and your rate is higher than it should be, we're expecting kind of that valve to release, let off some of the pressure. That hasn't happened, and it's not happening quickly enough. And I think that at least from where I'm sitting, we're not seeing bad deals. So we know that the deals inherently can be sound, and it could be a matter of bad timing. And lenders are being a lot more forgiving. They're working with borrowers a lot more right now to make sure that doesn't happen. So I think the foreclosures are a little artificial in nature. Um, I mean, of course, there's exceptions to everything. There are foreclosures that are real foreclosures, bad properties, bad pricing, bad locations, etc. But I think that you're not seeing people running for the exits and big panic and big fear, because we know that a lot of this is temporary and kind of relieves itself over the next about 12 months, with the Fed cutting rates and the cycle kind of changing across real estate.
Yeah, I mean, I probably would add a little bit to it as well. When through the downturn, when you had had a lot of finance, um, probably just finance changes, modifications, and how people and banks and lenders were underwriting, and their requirements and covenants changed. It changed the dynamics of having to deal with defaults, meaning you had people who had lower loan to value or lower loan to cost. So their actual costs weren't as much of a struggle as they had been in the past when you were looking at higher leverage. I think the other side is, in terms for where this article is going, there's some uncertainty. I think there's always, I think in reality there's potential for volatility, but in commercial real estate. But I actually think, to Zach's point, that banks are willing to work with lender, or with some of the lenders, or borrowers at this point, primarily because they've got a lot of more capital into the projects, and they've been working to manage these things, and they're staying in front of them, so they know how to manage them.
Well, what really kind of jumped out to me in this, and it kind of goes to that old joke in real estate: the three most important things are location, location, location. Um, what really drove this was my home state of California. Commercial buildings foreclosures up 238% from the same time last year. So a lot of this number was really a California phenomenon. No other state even came close in terms of the jump in foreclosures. And I think we've got to admit that we're not necessarily experts in California real estate because we avoid it.
Yes, we
We
do.
find it to be a state that's not really supportive of developers, of investors, and we also find better states that we think are better environments to invest in. I'm going to say this kind of backs up that thinking of that there's better places a lot of times to put your money than California. But that's really what kind of jumped out at me is like this isn't so much of a national thing in this statistic. Once you dig into the numbers, this is more of a California thing. And I gotta say, living in this state, it does often make it tough to do business here.
Yeah. Yeah, we've
Yeah,
done a different video series on that as well. You want business supportive policies, and that's why you see a bunch of areas across the country thriving without the foreclosures. And, it really is telling in that regard.
Okay,
yeah,
well, not for me to diss my home state too much, but not a place we're actively investing. I don't think it surprises us that it's leading in foreclosures. Appreciate the insights, guys. Comment, let us know what we're missing. If you think California is the best place in the world to invest in real estate, let us know why, and maybe we'll change our minds. Probably not. Give us a thumbs up, click subscribe, and visit our website, selectfincap.com. Get on our newsletter list and get a look at exclusive commercial real estate investment opportunities, probably in states with positive business qualities and positive migration flows. Thanks a lot, guys.
Thank you.
Hey, thank you.